Hello YouTube, this video is a follow-up to the one I made about general guidelines about posture. And today I'm going to actually get into the practical aspects of it, and I will giving you 5 tangible tips that you can apply today so that you can actually help your posture get better over time. So the thing with posture is that some people are born with bad posture, meaning that you can have scoliosis, but most people develop bad posture through bad habits. And because it takes years to correct bad posture, it also takes years to actually fix it in a sense. Because the development is going to be taking roughly the same amount of time as the fix takes. So these are things that can actually be applied very easily. It doesn't take much effort. I would say, however, that the greatest fix of them all is lifting. Lifting with proper form will correct poor posture over time because you put on muscle which reinforces that proper posture. That being said, if you just jump into training with bad posture, you can create obvious injuries, you can aggravate the posture, especially if you're the type of person who believes that bad form doesn't exist. However, I do think that if you're on this channel, you know better than that, because there is, of course, something such as bad form. Bad technique is a thing, and across the board, we have certain cues we have to respect. But I'm not here to discuss that. I'm here to give you those tips. So the first tip is, you're going to get yourself a pillow. It needs to be an empty pillow that you can fill up with sand or any other substance that you might put your hand on. It's easy to get, you can buy them online. And what you're going to fill it with is rice, not sand. Rice is going to offer a better consistency, plus if it spills, it's going to be less of a hassle to clean. And if one day you run out of food because, I don't know, civil war has broken out, you'll have a reserve of rice. So what you do with that pillow is, when you sit in your chair, you're going to take the pillow behind your head and you're going to let it slip down your back. And when it lodges itself in between the upper back and the lower back, where your spine actually curves like this and it sits here, you're going to block it. And that's how you're going to sit. What this pillow is going to do is it's going to force you to espouse that natural curvature of the spine so that you're not rounded over. A lot of issues with modern chairs and sitting in general is not necessarily the action of sitting, which is by itself not super great. Rather, it's the posture that you are going to have to take to sit on that chair. If the chair has a straight back, a lot of people will tell you, well, that's great, you'll have a straight back. Well, no, it's terrible. Why? Because your hips will have to sit all the way back for you to have your back flush with the chair. If they're not all the way back, you'll be like this, and there's going to be a space in your lower back, and it's not going to be comfortable, and you want to be comfortable. And the issue with chairs that supposedly are more comfortable is that they tend to make you round over. That pillow is going to be a nice compromise because regardless of the type of chair, it's going to create that space that forces you to sit like this. So it forces you to push the chest out, the shoulders out and down, and you have to sit like this. It might be uncomfortable at first, because your body has completely forgotten the proper posture. But over time, it will get better and you will find that it helps with posture in everyday life. And a secondary tip based on that would be, if you want to lay the chair down, you can, in that case, just put the pillow a little bit higher, just behind the thoracic spine, so that it also keeps pushing you a little bit forward, but your hips can still stay comfortably within the chair. So that's for sitting. Another aspect of sitting that can also be applied to everyday life when you're standing would be the position of your shoulders. A lot of people, you right now watching me, you're like this. And you don't even notice you're like this because you've been tensing your traps and shoulders your entire life because you're stressed out. This is a protection, right? This is when a predator attacks so that you can protect your neck. But there's no predator in your room, right? Lower those shoulders, always. When you do this, what you're doing is you're developing tension in the neck, you're developing trap knots. You ever wonder why you got those insane knots? That's why you're always like this. The shoulders are supposed to be down. The work and the job of the traps is to catch the shoulders when they're stretched. This is your natural resting position. This is much better. Less stress accumulation, no bad posture, because guess what? People who are like this, they tend to also round the shoulders forward, so they have kyphotic posture. And you know what that does? When you press, you're going to hurt yourself because your shoulders are not back in the pocket. Another aspect of this is going to be directly correlated with what your head does. always look forward, okay? This is where your chin is, it points forward. You're not like this, and you're not like this. And you might think to yourself, well, how is that applicable? Give me a tip. I'll give you a tip right now. When you work on your computer, the computer needs to be level. You don't want to be like this, right? You don't want to be like this either, but most people are like this. They're looking down at something on their knee. This is terrible. Stack books, create a little shelf, and look at that computer straight up like this, okay? It needs to be far away too to preserve your eyes, but the most important part is this, that neutral posture of the neck. Because again, in my theory, which is not really a theory, it's proven, of degeneration of the spine and of the posture, the more you do this, the more you do this, the more you do this, and everything works in a chain. It starts with the lower back, then it's the upper back, then the shoulders, then the head. Every single aspect of this will have an impact down the line. So it's your job to correct these aspects now. Another thing that needs to be applied also in your life would be when you're standing up. A lot of people will have a tough time with this because they're going to find that a little bit try hard, and it might be a little bit too hard to actually maintain. But naturally, a proper posture when you're standing up is you're going to have, again, a neutral spine, so you're not sitting super straight, you're not rounded over either, and your glutes need to be slightly tense and your core needs to be braced. That is natural, meaning that I do that, I don't even feel it, because those muscle groups know what to do. And in a sense, this also applies to bracing when you lift. I don't think of bracing when I lift, I do it. It's not like a ritual that I have to do, and if I mess up, I fail the lift. I brace, period. And the thing is, humans in general brace because that's what a muscle is really, it's a brace. And when you walk around, to maintain posture and to actually walk, because keep in mind that humans are completely special in that aspect, we don't really walk, we fall. And you catch yourself with each step, and you know what catches yourself? Your sense of balance and your muscles. The issue is that just like the legs catch you because you have the muscles, the rest of the body is going to be completely discombobulated if you're not bracing. And that bracing will keep everything tight. So you need to apply that in everyday life. Just like people develop bad habits, like walking on their tippy toes or standing with one leg protruded so they put more weight on that leg, you can also apply good habits. I will make a video about dynamic posture, but for example, the positioning and the angling of the knee when you walk also has a part. And the last thing I'm going to tell you is also related to sitting, because it's a static posture video, and it's going to be in direct contradiction with what you could have heard as a male in the media, which is, I want you to man spread. I want you to be as wide as possible, as big as possible. And that also goes for ladies. I know there are a few on this channel. Ladies, women spread. You want to be open. You want to have everything wide. Why? Because this reinforces proper posture. What I just did here, this is proper posture. This is poor posture, okay? And it's insane. I'm so used to good posture that when I do this, my back immediately complains. Like it just creaked. Tangent. You want to be open. As a male, you want to have your hips open because that's the way your hips work. We're not supposed to sit like this as males. It's strange. And if you have big legs, you won't even be able to do that. That's the way your hips naturally sit. Let them sit the way they like it. Open up those shoulders, okay? Perk up your chest. Look up. That's the space you take. You are entitled to that space. If you sit like this, not only are you reinforcing bad posture because you're basically starting to just roll in a ball on yourself, it also is going to mess up with your mind because you're going to start to integrate the fact that you're not worth the space and you're going to be less and less dominant in everyday life. That's going to impact your training as well. So you want to take that space, you want to inhabit things that are around you because it's what is going to be the most conducive to proper posture. So that's going to be that for this video. I highly recommend you start in the order I gave you, even though you will find that the links of the chains can all have an impact on each other. I've always found personally that it starts here and it goes down, meaning that people start with our head posture being poor and then it degenerates into the thoracic spine rounding, then it's the shoulders, then it's the lower back, and then they end up like this. And An extra tip, because I felt generous today, your phone. Besides the laptop having to be in front of you, stop looking at your phone like this. It's the same, you're reinforcing bad posture. You want to look at your phone, look at it like this. Yeah, you'll look strange, who cares? Look at it like this. This is proper posture, okay? I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and have a good day.